Hello and welcome to vlog number 31. This week I'm going to talk about coping with an illness that can be invisible to others. I've seen posts on various Parkinson's disease Facebook groups over the last week or two bemoaning the apparent invisibility of our condition. People tell us how well we are looking, sometimes expressing disbelief that we have PD, or outright accusing us of faking illness. This can be difficult to take for someone who is struggling for normality, papering over the cracks of their illness, putting on the bravest face that they can, and who is actually feeling lousy. This can be one of the most difficult things that we have to deal with. The perception that because we look fine on the outside, then we must be fine on the inside too. When we encounter this incredulity, the temptation to set them straight is generally countered by a lack of energy, a lack of words, and/or a lack of motivation to do so. I know that I cannot be bothered to explain how things really are, and therein lies the heart of the problem. Awareness of what Parkinson's disease really is pitifully sketchy. It's not just a case of having the shakes. Tremor isn't always present in any case, and where it is present, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And this iceberg analogy is particularly applicable to PD. Only the top of the iceberg is visible above the water. What lies beneath, hidden from sight, is much larger and more terrifying than we care to imagine. If the tremor is the tip of the iceberg, then below the water are a multitude of other symptoms, such as anxiety, depression, sleeping problems, fatigue, bladder issues, cognitive issues, constipation, loss of sense of smell, sexual dysfunction, slowness of movement, restless legs, involuntary movement, slurred and indistinct speech, muscular stiffness and weakness, and the list goes on. If you ask a person with Parkinson's, how are you? The chances are they will respond with something along the lines of, I'm fine, thanks. I know that I do. Even my wife doesn't know how I'm really feeling and says to me that she learns more about me and my condition from reading my daily blog than she gets from asking me about it. I think that there is a perception that people aren't really interested or don't want to hear a negative response to the question. That's probably an accurate perception. We all want to hear the reply, I'm fine thanks, not hear about how we are struggling, how much pain we are in, how depression or lack of motivation or lack of energy are preventing us from getting out and enjoying life. I only know of one person who, having asked the question, actually wants to know the truthful answer. He'll counter my stock response of I'm fine thanks with, good, now how are you really? And so I tell him. But can you imagine what would happen if we answered the question honestly every time it was asked? We would see the fixed smile on their faces wither and die. The eyes would glaze over, and you would almost see them making a mental note not to ask that question again. Another area that can be contentious is that of the blue badge that we have here in the UK, which entitles the holder to park in disabled parking spaces. I'm getting thicker skinned these days, but I feel the accusatory eyes of the general public upon me as they try to ascertain what my disability is. You feel a fraud if you get out of your car and you can walk. You can double the disbelief and scrutiny if you happen to have a sports car, as I have. There seems to be a common perception that disabled people shouldn't have sports cars. But I'll tell you what, I bought my sports car as a present to myself, following my official diagnosis, because I'd always wanted one, and I knew that I would have to give up driving at some stage due to PD. So I continue driving it until it becomes too difficult for me to get in and out of, or I'm forced to give up driving because of Parkinson's. It's a difficult one, isn't it? When somebody tells you that you're looking really well, what do you say? Do you raise awareness by telling them honestly how you really are, or do you give the stock response? One reply that someone suggested, and which I thought was particularly good, was, if I felt as good as I look, then I'd be okay. And I think that about sums it up. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or have a topic that you'd like me to cover in future vlogs, just leave me a message in the comments and I'll do my best to respond. Have a great week. See you next Friday.